Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
If you think that patience is a virtue, try running a business without high-speed internet. You will lose it. Trust me. Okay, don't trust me. Find out by yourself. In Nigeria, there's a particular quote that just falls in line with something like this. Nowadays, nobody says a patient dog eats the patient dog. Now hunger will kill them all. Welcome to Tony's Tech Side. I live stream on www.africatechradio.com every weekday from 9 a.m. West African time till midday. You see what I did there? Weekday, midday. Wherever you're listening from, like, comment, share. We'll learn a tech word. We'll dig deep into the rubbles of history to find precious jewels of knowledge to launch us into the future, and then share the most important, juiciest, and impactful stories from the continent of Africa to keep you informed. Yes, I'll let you know what's happening in the tech space on the continent. You can share your stories with the rest of us on WhatsApp. Yeah, text or send a voice note on 0913-558-1766. Please add +234 if you're texting from outside Nigeria. So, life offers two choices every day to you. Today and tomorrow. But you can only pick one. So decide now which is going to be. Will you make a choice for today or just be like us? Yes, and say, you know what? Let's leave it till tomorrow. Well, on the 17th of October 1907, going back into history, Guglielmo Marconi, not macaroni, but Marconi, yeah, he officially opened the first commercial transatlantic wireless telegraph service, which ran between Nova Scotia and Ireland. It was like the post office, but like the tech advanced post office kind of thing at that period in time. And in 1990, October 17, Colin Nedham, an English movie fan, launched the rec.art.movies movie database, which most people now know as IMDb. IMDb is short for Internet Movie Database. He was an engineer working for HP, Hewlett and Packard. Yeah, HP, those guys, they do other things too, but they're known for printers. At the time, by 1996, Nedham quit his job to work on IMDb full-time, and IMDb is one of the most visited sites on the internet. And later on in 1998, Amazon, yes, the almighty tech giant Amazon, acquired IMDb. Needham is still the general manager of IMDb till we speak. And the word for today is Passkeys. P-A-S-S as in pass, and K-E-Y. Did I just say key? K-E-Y-S for keys. So Passkeys, that's our tech word for today. October is a month dedicated to cybersecurity. And just a few days ago, one of the big four announced that it was moving from passwords to passkeys. What will a world look like without passwords? I mean, no password at all. Let me know what you think. Well, passkey is a new way of logging into online accounts or getting into online services or even apps. And it's actually designed to be faster, easier to use, more secure than passwords. Oh my word. There was a time when we thought passwords was the most secure thing. It actually was at a point the most secure thing. But now, trust me, a lot of passwords have been hacked. And let's not even get into it. So what does passkey actually mean? So it means that you don't have to remember anything. Like, oh, what's your password? I can't remember my password. Oh, forget password. Click on forget password. No need for that. That will most likely be very ancient in a few years' time. So what happens is your devices get a single-use login credential each time you sign into an account, so your account details can't easily be stolen by a hacker or any phishing attack. If all this sounds kind of like complicated, don't worry. It all happens in the background. You don't need to see anything. What just happens is that when you're trying to sign into Gmail, PayPal, iCloud, you can just use your Face ID on your phone, or you can use your fingerprint. Right? Like, it's as simple as hello, right? As simple as typing hello for anyone who is coding for the first time. So just a few days ago, the social media person also told me, oh, WhatsApp is, moving from passwords to passkeys. I'm like, oh yeah, I know. So passkeys will also be stored on your device, but Some people have asked what happens when it gets broken or you lose your phone, because the passkeys will still be in. Well, since passkeys work across multiple devices, right? So you can use passkey on your laptop, on your mobile phone, on multiple devices, in fact, for the same either Gmail account, the same PayPal account, the same any kind of account or app you want to use. You most likely have a backup available. Many services already support passkeys, and they can also re-authenticate to your phone number or your email address, or to a hardware security key if you have one. So you know how you go to your bank and then you get like this thing that you hold in your hand, and you can say yes to transactions and no to transactions. Yes, passkeys can work that way too. And that's our word for today, passkeys. So Nigeria on Monday, 16th October, announced that its proposed budget, because it has to go through the National Assembly of the country, it proposes to spend 26 trillion naira. That's about $34 billion in 2024. That's its 2024 budget. And it's also assuming that this 26 trillion naira is calculated with the oil price figure at $73.96. That's about $74 for its expenses at an exchange rate of 700 naira per dollar. This when I was about to say this, it's a point where you say, oh, hear this, 700 naira per dollar. That's what it's pegging it at. I don't know the kind of juju, right, or baba, but I strongly believe in this. If it's just going to be something that we're going to do like this, snap of the finger, and then everything becomes normal. The government will set aside, by the way, 8.2 trillion naira for debt servicing. That's about $10 billion. And 7.78 trillion naira to cover salaries and pensions for civil servants. So Nigerians, just in case you haven't heard it before, salaries and pensions for civil servants takes about 8 billion naira. So if we compare this to what the immediate former president, Muhammadu Buhari, budgeted, what Nigeria currently runs on is about 21.8 trillion naira, and it was approved under the last regime. 21.8 trillion naira up until 26 trillion. That's about a 5 trillion increase to make it 26 right now. The central focus of this budget is to, in their words, Nigeria consolidates the various economic reforms that have been initiated by the current administration. And these reforms are aimed at improving the standard of living for Nigerians and attracting the much needed foreign investments into the country. English, right? A lot of grammar. Well, until we start to see things happen, it's just word on paper, and it's really, really cheap to print. Not these days. It's expensive, but come on, it's not exactly worth, the paper it's printed on. Going by the performance of the 2022 budgets, it's not clear how the government, plans to fund this 26 trillion naira budget, because a recent report by Nairametrics suggests that the federal government ended 2022 with a deficit of 7.5 trillion naira, right? Or, about over 100% of the actual revenue collected. So if with a budget of 21 trillion, there was a deficit of 7.5 trillion naira, now you're upping the budget to 26, which has to be done, but come on, man. Make it make sense. Like, there just has to be a way around it that is smarter than, how we're going now. One of the key assumptions, that underpins this budget is the expectation of improved inflow. The idea is that we're going to get more money, and then the reliance on foreign exchange, like we're going to have a boost in exchange rates, and then maybe finally get the exchange rate to stay at about 700-ish, because right now on the black market it's over 1,000 naira. It appears that the government is banking on foreign investments to come in, inflow, to help boost the capital inflows. That's the money it makes, and strengthen the exchange rates. It's also unclear, what the connection and how the connection is. That's why I said make it make sense. Let's just leave that and move to other things in Nigeria which are worth, quite talking about. It will be a USSD issue. Yeah, sometime in 2021, just immediately after the COVID lockdown was overturned, right? I talked about the USSD issue and the fact that the banks and the telecommunication companies were having issues Well, telecommunication companies are considering the possibility of withdrawing the USSD services to deposit money banks, that's your usual banks, over the 120 billion naira debt that the banks owe. Now, for you to be able to send whatever to transfer money to somebody or to credit yourself airtime or those kind of banking services, right? The telecommunication companies are the ones that provide you with the whatever. They own that whole infrastructure, right? The computers are the things that help you to do the whatever transfer. The telecommunication companies own it. Now, the banks have not been paying, or they have defaulted in paying most of it. And now it's at 120 billion naira across board. The telecommunication companies are threatening to take legal action against the banks as the ongoing issue, spanning approximately 4 years now. So, as I said, around that COVID period, that's when it was like a big deal. So, 21, 22, 23, 2020, that's when this whole issue started. According to Alton chairman Benga Adebayo, he says the government's interference in the issue was responsible for escalating the issue and then made the issue to deteriorate, become bad, and also affected the relationship between the banks and the telco industry. Remember that the CBN actually entered into the matter to try to settle it. Not just the CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, and other federal bodies too in the country, tried to resolve the situation amicably. But last, it'd be then go courts because the issue, it did not settle. It did not settle at all. On the bright side, a company that used to be known as an African or a Nigerian company, Andela, which finally moved. It's known as the world's largest private marketplace for technical talent. Let's say the Fiverr for tech. Exactly. That's what Andela is. They recently announced a talent cloud platform, which is more like upscaling their platform and adding AI to it. Yeah. So according to the press release I saw on Andela's website on Monday, 16th October 2023, this platform, the one they just launched, the Andela Cloud platform, is an all-in-one AI-driven solution that provides the executives in IT companies with transparent profiles of talents and skills assessment results that would help them, choose the right IT professionals to employ. And this is just literally Andela integrating AI into its processes. Now, I want to say a big shout out to the people of Liberia. I saw how happy they were when it was just a few days to the time of voting, and it has taken just about a week to put together the results. I hope that when the results are out, the people of Liberia can actually be happy with the result and that Liberia can move forward, because I really would not, want what happened to, countries like Kenya and Nigeria, where there was a lot of contests. I know it surely happened, but I pray it doesn't deteriorate to anything, because Liberia literally recently just came out of civil unrest and whatnot, and we've had a period of peace in Liberia up until this time. So I call on, George Weah and Buakai, the two leading front runners in the election, to embrace whatever results come out of this, and so that at the end of the day Liberia can actually be better for it, and the persons and people in Liberia can be better for it. If you're in Kenya and you're within the age range known as Gen Z, Safaricom has something for you. If you don't know Safaricom, you know M-Pesa. Yes, so Safaricom owns M-Pesa. Safaricom announced a product targeting Gen Z. It's called Safaricom Hook. That name has a hook to it. And it's supposed to help those known as the digital natives, that's those within the ages of 13 to 26, 25, 26, within the Gen Z brackets, to develop tech skills. That's the major aim of it. So there are a couple of features in it. But first, I think that it may also have something to do with a particular product that targeted young millennials that Safaricom also launched in 2016. Now, this product was for those who were under the ages of 26 at that point in time. Now, this Safaricom Hook seems much similar to Blaze, yes, and it's been updated to keep up with times. Now, this new platform called Hook just made slight changes, to the age this time, and then pushed it out to those within that particular age. Now, it says Safaricom say that this platform is actually for those between the ages of 10 to 24. Now, one of the features would be the digital talent program, and the other is the engineering community, Safaricom engineering community. This is, focused on developing tech skills. So for those within the GenZ space who want to develop tech skills, these two features and programs are like really for you. Now, Safaricom partnered with different organizations, so as to just help develop the next set or next crop of tech guys, tech babes, and tech Cs and bros and software engineers. And there's also like a sports initiative in it. That's like the Chapa Dimba football series, the Safaricom athletics series featured. This actually helps to ensure that those who are interested in sports within this age range also are catered for. And then there's a financial well-being, the M-Pesa goal, the Mali wealth management, which helps to promote savings culture among Gen Zs. And I really thought that the discussions between Meta, Sama, and its former content moderator employees were beginning to have a headway, but no, they say no. It seems like I was wrong. Or maybe they all had their minds set from the beginning, but they didn't let us know. The out of court negotiations between content moderators Meta and Sama have actually gone south, like total collapse and ruins. They headed back to the courts. We heard this news yesterday when the court was briefed on the outcome of the mediation. So they've been in a process of mediating. That's, let's settle out of court. Let's discuss things. Let's come to a round table. The round table is no longer round. In fact, they've broken the round table. There's no table left again. And they were supposed to actually settle out of court in August 2023. And that dragged up until this time. But now it's very clear that these suits will proceed to Kenya's Employment and Labor Relations Court, where it will be decided. In case you missed the issue, you're wondering what exactly is the problem. Over 180 moderators are suing Sama and Meta. Meta is a company that owns Facebook, for unlawful dismissal. The moderators claim that Meta and Sama failed to issue them with redundancy notices according to the Kenyan law, and that their termination or terminal dues were hinged on signing non-disclosure agreement, and they were not going to do that. They're also suing Majorel, it's Meta's other content moderator partner in Africa, for alleged discrimination. They claim that Majorel blacklisted the ex-employees of Sama, meaning you're not going to get any job. Exactly. So what do these content moderators do? They look at all the things, pictures, videos, and they moderate them. So if you have a video of someone that killed himself, suicide, right? They are the ones that would watch the video, and when you report, sometimes it's before you report, they watch the video no, this video is bad, let's take it down. They take it down. Sometimes when you report, they watch the video and then they say, oh no, this is actually wrong, and then they take it down. People actually watch these videos and they say that it's affecting their mental health. They literally have to watch bad videos, videos that are crazy out of this world. And come on, they're human beings too. But then that was one of the issues. But the major issue here for the lawsuit is not even, the whole, mental health discussion, but the fact that they were actually dismissed, let go, without proper plans. That's the major issue. And something that's quite interesting also to note is what's happening in Tanzania, right? Yes. If you're in Tanzania, you most likely risk jail if you're using VPN and you do not want to go register it. Now, the Tanzania Communications Regulatory Authority, TCRA, has implemented a stringent ban on the use of virtual private networks, otherwise known as VPNs, as part of its Electronic and Postal Communications Regulations of 2020. That's online content regulation. Before the 30th of October 2023, people residing and people who are citizens of Tanzania and wish to use a VPN must fill out a form that's available on a website. And the form requires some information, including your user IP address, and there are two categories, one for individual use and the other for company use. Now, what's VPN? So a VPN is something that covers your IP address and covers your internet connection, so that when you browse on the internet, people cannot exactly see you immediately. They don't know where you're browsing from. So if you go on the website, automatically you start seeing, they'll start selling you things from Nigeria. If you want to register for something, they'll automatically put +234, and then it says you put the remaining part of your phone on. You're like, how did these people know that I'm +234? Why can't I be +254 or +26? Oh, well, they can actually trace your IP address to where you're staying, and not just where you're staying or where you are, your location, but the exact computer or laptop or phone or whatever you're using currently at that point in time. So if you have a VPN, if you use a VPN, it'd be very difficult. They have to like sit down and watch before someone will be able to say, oh yes, this is where this person is and this is what this person used. But guys, mommy Nimi, sorry, you have to either register or you can leave Tanzania for good. But then on the bright side, Ethiopia's ID program, the national ID program, is moving fast to popularize its digital ID system known as FADA with a series of partnership deals. Lately, the one being the country office of the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. So a few days ago, the UNICEF country director for Ethiopia, Abubakar Campo, and the executive director of the NIDP, Yodahe, they signed a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, that would sponsor the registration of all residents in the country for the digital ID scheme. So on the Facebook page of UNICEF Ethiopia, it said that the partnership will support the inclusion of vulnerable UNICEF beneficiaries, including children, by providing them with a unique digital identity to help them access basic services. So this is different from an earlier one this month between the NIDP, the Refugees and the Returnees Scheme, the IRS, and the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the UNHCR. According to GSMA, there are over 4 billion smartphone users in the world. And we know that one of the major things that faces those who own smartphone is the fear of losing your smartphone. Now, the number of active smartphones is higher than the number of human beings on it. Well, we have 7 billion and we have over 4 billion smartphones. So I take that back. First off, there are over 4 billion smartphone users in the world, right? Over 4 billion. And the number of active smartphones are like double that number. So the number of active smartphones in the world in 2023 is more than the number of human beings on Earth. Because number of human beings, 7 billion. It doesn't mean that everyone has a smartphone, but then some people have 3, some people have 4 actively running. Now, Apple, Samsung, Google, Motorola, Nokia, major phone makers have assembled in London City this week with the Mayor of London and the Met Police, and they have just one agenda: to know what can be done to smartphones to make them harder to steal. They don't want people to, they want you to stop stealing, like not you, but them to stop stealing your phone. We'll hear what, they come up with afterwards, and I'm going to make the big reveal next week on this same episode. And the results of the 2023 Workforce Authentication Report came out, and it showed that employees are really, really eager to move beyond passwords and embrace passwordless authentication through biometrics or other means. This is in line with the announcement made by WhatsApp that Android users can easily and securely log back in with passkeys. Only your face or your fingerprints or PIN unlocks your WhatsApp accounts, and WhatsApp users on Android can say goodbye to SMS two-factor authentication. I hope you all are happy finally. And then, okay, LinkedIn. Someone is smiling, that's where I paused. So LinkedIn has announced a fresh round of job cuts. They're letting about 670 persons go. And this is across the engineering, talent, and finance teams. And this comes after LinkedIn cuts about 716 jobs in May. The job cuts back. We're crying. This follows other job cuts that have come across other big tech firms also. The latest job cuts represent about 3% of LinkedIn's workforce of 20,000 staff. And how does LinkedIn even make its money? Well, job ad listings, premium subscriptions. That's why they're always saying subscribe to LinkedIn Premium. and then recruiters also pay to use it. And in case you're wondering, it has over 900 million users. And then finally, I think it would be Minecraft actually breaking another sales record. Yep, selling more than 300 million copies worldwide. And Microsoft finally completing the $69 billion takeover of Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard in the gaming industry's biggest ever deal. Those are like two stories that are very important that you should take a look at if you're interested in gaming or anything that is close to that. Thank you. This is Tony's Tech Side. I live stream every weekday, from 9 a.m. till midday. You can catch me on www.africatechradio.com. Like, share, and comment.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.